Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are strapping in for, I think, the fastest, maybe the filthiest, and definitely the most financially fraught premiere of the year.
We are jumping headfirst into the new season of industry.
Specifically that first episode with the title you just can't forget, PayPal of Bukkake.
Yeah, and that title, it's really a perfect piece of thematic shorthand. It tells you everything. So our mission today is to unpack this, what some are calling a reset within a reset.
A reset within a reset. What does that mean exactly?
Well, the show has totally abandoned the trading floor at Pure Point. We're in a new world. We're following Harper Stern in her new, very conflicted role in New York.
And we're analyzing this new threat, right? The volatile and frankly amoral world of fintech.
Exactly. So the sources are all trying to figure out a central question.
Yeah.
Who actually has the power now? Now that the old institutions are gone.
And is Harper finally figuring out what she really wants? Or is this just the next big expensive high for her?
I mean, the scope is just blown up. Critics are calling it a globe-trotting sort of conspiracy espionage thriller.
And the premiere really lives up to that hype. We've synthesized everything from plot summaries to thematic critiques, so you know exactly why the stakes for Harper have never been higher.
Let's start with her in New York, Harper Stern. She's moved her fund. It's under Otto Mostyn's big umbrella.
Right, and she's trading with some familiar faces, Sweet Peas there, and a new guy, Kwabena Bannerman.
But the sources are really clear on this one thing. Her success feels hollow. The growth is described as boring chalk growth.
She looks the part, The expensive clothes, the high-rise office, but it's a golden cage.
A golden cage. And the bars are all made by her backer, Otto Mostyn. And this is where the critique in the sources gets really interesting.
Because he's changed.
He's changed completely. He's suddenly politically ambitious. He's gunning to become a lord. And all of a sudden, he values power over plain old wealth.
Which gives him this newfound conscience, right? He's stopping Harper from shorting the companies she wants to hit.
And critics are really divided on this. Many are calling it a complete betrayal of a character. They're saying the writers just turned the amoral Otto we knew into this prim, high-key, racist Protestant.
I mean, he has lines like, short-selling companies that act in the public interest is the work of vultures, and we're not vultures.
Just as not the Otto we know.
Yeah.
The consensus seems to be that they just needed a way to push Harper back towards Eric Tao. They call him Pucci Mostyn.
Hold on, couldn't there be more to it? I mean, isn't that what the super rich do? They accumulate all this wealth and then they trade it for political power and a clean legacy. Maybe it's not a betrayal, but just the natural next step for a guy like him.
That's a really sharp point.
Yeah.
But whether it's good writing or just a plot device, the effect on Harper is devastating.
He makes it personal.
Deeply personal. He tells her, to her face, that she wasn't hired on merit. He says he needed a face, specifically, a black face willing to do his morally flexible, dirty work.
And Harper's own term for it is even more brutal, a puppet in blackface.
That insult is the match that lights the fuse. And you see the personal cost right away.
Yeah, she starts acting just like the people she used to hate. That blind and deaf tyrannical fashion she saw in Eric.
She's overruling her traders. She's snapping at clients. And in this one really visceral moment, she shreds a birthday card from her mother.
Oh, that was cold. That 30th birthday card, signed just, best mom.
Yeah. Her ambition is just stripping away every piece of her humanity, layer by layer.
And that leads her to pull the trigger on the financial nuclear option.
It does. Investors are pulling out. She feels the walls closing in, so she decides to gate the fund. We should probably pause here and explain for you just how serious that is.
Please do, because it sounds catastrophic.
It is. Gating a fund means you temporarily ban anyone from taking their money out. It's a financial lockdown.
It's what a manager does in absolute desperation.
Exactly. It stops a run on the bank, sure, but it completely destroys your reputation to guarantee you're going to get sued. So Harper is basically burning the ship to save the cargo. And she knows it.
And the fallout is immediate and grimly hilarious.
It is. Her client, James Ashford, who, she has a personal history with, has a transient ischemic attack.
A baby stroke. Right there in her office.
Face plants right onto her glass desk. And he gets stuck repeating one word.
Sesquipedalian.
Which ironically means long-winded.
And Harper's reaction just says it all. She looks at him and just says, very inconvenient.
Yeah. A man is having a medical emergency because of her, and all she sees is a logistical problem. It's her amorality just calcified. Perfect pivot to the new world.
So the old world is collapsing around her, but chaos, as we know, is a ladder. And that ladder leads to a company called Tender.
Tender. This is the new center of gravity for the whole season. It's a fintech payment processor that gives the episode its infamous title.
The PayPal of Bukkake.
And the sources are very clear about why. Tender's business model leans heavily on alternative merchants.
Which is a nice way of saying pornography and gambling.
A company called Siren, which used to be called Colonel Cream Pie, by the way, is one of their big clients.
Yeah, about 23% of their income comes from these high-risk sectors. And the CEO, Jonah Atterbury, he's totally fine with it.
He has that incredible line, jerking off is recession-proof. He sees the value in that steady, maybe grimy, but reliable income stream.
He seems to be the practical one. He's talking about how they started out importing dupe baby hoodies from Pyongyang. He's the ballast of the company.
He is. But his co-founder, Whitney Halberstrom, he's the engine. He's the future.
Whitney is something else. Ruthless, calculating. He sees that PayPal of Bukkake reputation as a ceiling on their growth.
He wants to launder the company's image. He wants a legit banking license.
And his ambition is off the charts. He has this vision, right?
A huge vision. He says, our comp is no longer Stripe or PayPal. It's not even Chase or Goldman Sachs. We're going to be all these things and more.
He doesn't just want to be a bank. He wants to be a bank killer.
And that kind of ambition requires ruthless action. So he stages a coup.
Right. Doesn't even tell Jonah. He just unilaterally fires Siren as a client to force the company to pivot.
And the board backs him. They vote Jonah out, and Whitney becomes the interim CEO. It's a perfect illustration of how, in this new world, business goals just instantly erase long-standing friendships.
And it sets Whitney up as this terrifying new antagonist. The sources call him a white male twin to Harper's own ruthlessness.
They're operating on the same frequency, the same moral flexibility. It's a collision course.
So now we have these two, Harper and Whitney, on that collision course. Let's talk about the other players who are sort of connecting their worlds.
The show is really expanding beyond just finance. We meet Jim Diker, who's an investigative journalist.
Right, from Thin Digest. And he's targeting Tender. And we see him immediately cross a pretty clear ethical line.
A huge one. He goes after Haley Clay, who is Whitney's assistant, and he sleeps with her to get inside information.
So the press is now a weapon in this game. And later, Dicker is the one who calls Harper and tells her she's shorting the wrong company.
Meaning, don't short Siren. Short Tender itself.
Which brings us to the return of Rishi.
Poor Rishi. He is a mess. He's traumatized after seeing his wife's murder. He's been in a mental health and addiction unit. He's back, but as a fallen streetwise op.
He's gathering intel for Harper now, but the sources point out how far he's fallen, but also how weirdly useful he is now.
His skills are different. He's not reading a screen anymore. He's in a pub watching a politician's speechwriter.
And he sees the speechwriter has the Siren app on his phone ready to go.
And then he clocks the guy's iPhone password. This isn't high finance. This is low-level espionage. It shows you that Harper and Eric now need people who can get their hands dirty in a totally different way.
Which leads to the actual collision. Harper and Whitney. They meet at a party that Yasmin is hosting.
A soiree, yes. And they connect. And they end up sleeping together that same night. The sources really, really dig into the power dynamics of this scene.
They really do. There's this earlier scene with Harper and Kwabena that's very casual, sort of intimate, but with Whitney, it's different.
It's all about power. The scene takes place in his enormous walk-in closet, which feels like a bank vault. And it culminates when he leads her to a box, and inside is a strap-on.
Which we then see her wearing.
We do. And the sources draw this really powerful line back to the classic Wall Street book, Liar's Poker.
Right, to the idea of the big swinging dickets, for anyone listening who doesn't know that term.
So the big swinging dick was the term for the alpha male trader, the guy who dominates the floor with aggressive risk-taking, total masculine energy.
So the dicket is the female equivalent.
It's the idea that for a woman to survive and thrive in that world, she has to adopt those same aggressive, sometimes toxic masculine traits. She has to project dominance.
So Harper wearing the strap-on isn't just about sex.
Not at all. It's a visual metaphor. She has to be in the dominant, active, controlling role in every single part of her life. Power is her currency, and she's found someone in Whitney who is willing to play that exact same game.
Speaking of power, that brings us to the ghost of Harper's past. Eric Tao.
Eric. He's supposedly retired. He's got his 8-figure check. He's living what he calls heaven on earth, playing golf with wealthy old white men.
But he is absolutely miserable.
Miserable. He tells Harper, The problem with heaven on earth is that nobody wants it when it's here. He is a man who is defined by the chaos of the market. Without it, he's nothing.
And even in retirement, he can't escape the drama. There's that amazing little moment where he runs into Donald Trump on the golf course.
Just referred to as 47.
Who's playing too slowly. It just shows Eric can't escape the world he was part of. He's bored, and that boredom is his Achilles heel.
It's what makes him vulnerable to Harper's call. She needs a master strategist, and he desperately needs a purpose.
So they meet, they hash out a deal, and the sources point out that Harper is different this time. She's more assertive.
She sets boundaries. She tells him, I can't be a punching bag for another man's fear. That's a huge step for her character.
But that prickly, honest dynamic they have is still there.
Oh yeah, he gives her this classic Eric line. It's affectionate, but it's also a psychological jab. He just looks at her and says, you are an angry black woman.
It's him acknowledging her drive, but wrapping it in his own brand of manipulation.
And the analysis of this renewed partnership is fascinating. They're comparing it to Don Draper and Peggy Olson in Mad Men.
I can see that same mix of admiration, resentment, conflict.
And a shared ambition that nobody else in the world understands. They are, as they say, getting the band back together. But this time, it's on Harper's terms.
Okay, so we have all the key players in motion. Harper and Eric, Whitney and Tender, Jim Diker, the journalist.
Before we wrap up, let's quickly touch on Yasmin and some of the real-world parallels the show is drawing.
Yasmin's role has totally shifted. She's now a power hostess. She's the one making the connections, bringing Harper and Whitney into the same room.
And she's playing the dutiful wife, making excuses for Henry Muck, her husband, saying he has a little cold.
But the episode ends on this really ominous note. We see Henry, he's disheveled, he's crushing pills, playing the piano, and the music is The Funeral of Queen Mary, which is not subtle.
Not subtle at all.
Yeah.
It's a clear signal that the little cold is a lie. Yasmin is telling everyone, including herself, about the darkness in her marriage.
And the show is doing such a good job this season of grounding all this drama in real financial events. The sources draw some great parallels.
Yeah, for you, the listener, this is where the deep dive really helps. Like when Eric compares his fund's reputation to Rodeo's Bridgewater.
Why is that specific comparison so important?
Because it's all about perception management. Eric says Dalio's reputation comes from shouting from the rooftops when he has a good position and then just going completely silent when he has a bad run.
It's a real-world strategy. You manage your reputation as much as you manage your returns.
Exactly. And Tender's entire business model is ripped from the headlines too.
Right. It's a parallel for two huge real-life entities.
The source is connected to Wirecard, the German payment processor that had this massive fraud scandal. They had a huge volume from digital services.
And the other parallel is to the companies behind Pornhub, like MindGeek, which was recently bought by a company called Ethical Capital Partners.
I mean, that name alone just screams hypocrisy.
It's the whole theme of the show, right? The biggest money is made by putting a clean, ethical face on the dirtiest corners of the internet.
And finally, the setting shift is crucial. We're not just on a trading floor. We're hearing about labor being in power, the Reform Party gaining ground. It tells you that to win in finance now, you have to control the market and the government that's watching it.
So to sum it all up, what does this mean for the season? The board is set for this huge three-way collision.
You've got Harper and Eric, the old guard of finance, coming back for more.
Yeah.
You have Whitney and Tender, this ruthless new tech money that wants to kill the banks.
And you have the journalist, Jim Diker, as this wild card looking to expose all of them.
This deep dive really establishes that the new antagonists are perfect mirrors for Harper's own ruthlessness, just on a much, much bigger scale. The theme is still hypocrisy, but the arena is now global.
We've seen that loyalty, friendship, morality, it's all completely disposable when there's a profit to be made.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to mull over. We've established that Harper and Whitney are almost twins in their ambition and their amorality.
Right.
Given that, will the ultimate difference between them be their financial skill? Or will it simply come down to who is better at covering up their crime?